this, but
And what it boiled down for me, like what sort of ultimately broke me in my Blizzard career was I got called in the CFO's office and he sits me down and he says, he gives me a date, which at the time was 2020 and was going to slip to 2021, but at the time it was 2020. And he said, Overwatch has to make in 2020. And then every year after that, it needs a recurring revenue. And then he says to me, if it doesn't do dollars, we're going to lay off 1,000 people, and that's going to be on you. And what it boiled down for me, like what sort of
worthless fucking company. This was a 5 hour long interview. Holy fucking shit. Yeah, I'm not watching this entire thing, but yeah. Explained that CFO ordered prioritization of Kiriko, Mercy, and Juno skins because those are the most profit bearing. I cannot stand Blizzard, and this is why he left. This is why he left. He left because no one fucking cares. Just nobody cares about anything but money. Forced to make certain skins, but somehow, some way, it's still somehow the Kiriko Mercy main's fault. And the fact that Blizzard's telling their employees, if you don't make this amount of money within this amount of time, you're fired.
broke me in my Blizzard career was I got called in the
You're fired, and that sucks. In fucking sane behavior. Because Jeff Kaplan has done a lot for Blizzard.
down for me, like what sort of was, and I felt I was a part of it. And I
Okay.
ultimately broke me in my it was 2020. And he said, Overwatch has to make in 2020. Lay off 1,000. Biggest fuck you moment I had in my career. It felt surreal to be in that condition. And as somebody who's worked on a lot of games, made a lot of games, you get in these meetings where they're like, Fortnite has 1,400 people working on it. If you just hire 1,400 people and make it free to play, we'll make that money, right? And that was I had believed I would never work anyplace but Blizzard. I loved it. It was a part of who I was. And I felt I was a part of it. And I literally thought I would retire from the place. I never thought the day would come.
And don't forget, Blizzard layoffs employees all the fucking time. 2,500 job cuts. Specifically because of the Microsoft acquisition, but 9,000 employees were cut off. This happened, what, last year, 2 years ago? 8 months ago. 8 months ago? 8 months ago? Yeah. Blizzard VP of Quality Assurance says all QA to work from home today will be difficult. She wrote an email to staff. I have a fucking Blue Sky account since fucking when? Yeah, I'm trying to find the specific numbers, but obviously everything is coming to this. Very in control of Overwatch team direction. Who's steering the wheel on a very sturdy ship. Some endeavors rock the boat like Overwatch 2, the Overwatch League, but the director's breaking point was a dramatic meeting with former executive of the company. He's not shed light. We left Activision Blizzard in 2021 after cementing himself as such a beloved figure in the games community for nearly a decade. It's not because he wanted an early retirement. Yeah. Him leaving was really fucking big when he left. And that was, what, 5 years ago now? Almost. Is this it? Blizzard layoffs 2025. Yeah, I'm not. Can I get the fucking goddamn article for this? Thank you. Games industry layoff figures were down slightly in 2025, still horrendous. 9,000 jobs in 2025. This is why games are always online and never fun anymore, because we just want to maximize profit, and that's why the skins are so expensive, why we prioritize battle passes and not just a one-time purchase game, because that doesn't make them as nearly as much profit. Genuinely, having an always online free game with battle pass and skins to buy, think about it. If a skin's $20, okay, you sell a game for $60, right? And then the skin's $20. The battle pass is $10. And person wants both those. You've already sold half a game. They play for another 2 months. That's another $20 on top of that. You've reached $50. Earlier this year, he tells the game business that over 70% and 75% have been in North America, with AAA studios being particularly affected, with more than 50% of cuts taking place in California. And this is because Microsoft did a large cut to their business model. And they performed worse on their earnings report, so this will continue to happen. And that's why we see so many server issues in Overwatch, in Fortnite, in any of these online-only games. Predicts where job opportunities will decrease in Western Europe and North America. They will increase in Latin America, Eastern Europe, and Asia, where you can pay workers less and treat them poorly. We're seeing a lot of money going from the US and Europe to other emerging markets, where it's China, Turkey, or even Vietnam. The US government could just make that illegal, by the way. And if these were unionized companies or organizational companies where you could do collective bargaining, you'd be able to not get fired for no fucking reason. Yeah, because this is
Where there was a
we're not watching a 5-hour video. Oh, is this a whole segment of why Jeff
work on new, found great people who got it. The company when I joined was like 95% developers and like 5% operation.
and weirdos
I believed in Overwatch too.
the
Yeah. And what eventually broke me was it used to be like in 2016 and 2017, I felt very in control of the Overwatch team and the direction of the game as a game director, working with Ray Gresko as a production director. It felt like we were running Overwatch and we were very, very successful and doing a good job. And I think the fans were happy. And then as we transitioned, Overwatch League was the best intention. My parents always say the road to hell is paved with good intentions. That was the Overwatch League, and it ended up being an albatross. And then Overwatch 2 was
the racism, sexual harassment, grooming minors, the big three.
Same thing. And what it boiled down for me, like what sort of ultimately broke me in my Blizzard career, was I got called in the CFO's office.
Yeah, we already seen this.
And he $20 worked on a lot of games. We'll make that money, right? And that was I had believed I would never work any place but Blizzard. I loved it. It was a hire from it's we're done here. Luckily for Blizzard, that CFO is no longer there.
I mean, Blizzard is one of the greatest companies in the history of Earth. They've created so many incredible video games. It's so difficult to create so many.
But don't ever forget Blizzard, the company, the games that I play mostly on stream, is a company who allowed sexual harassment to happen for years.
Hits, and they were done not by chasing money. Working extremely hard and
what it boiled down for me, like
so many hits, and they were done not by chasing money.
And that's the big thing. Game companies used to not chase profit, chase profit. And it worked. WoW has existed for over a decade now. People still play WoW, and it wasn't intended to chase for profit. And it's not a free game. I don't like the idea of free games being out there. Free-to-play games are a huge market for manipulation, and it comes from Epstein. Epstein had a plan for all of this. You can connect it all back to Epstein with the microtransactions in Call of Duty. He saw the market, and he made a plan to capitalize on it.
They're done by small, incredible teams. The hodgepodge that you describe, taking big risks, and figured out a way how to make a credible hodgepodge degree. This whole
there, and people who make stuff, we're so focused on the love of the craft that we get lost in it, and we love doing it, and we're not cutthroat, and we don't have that kind of ambition. We have a different kind of ambition, but there's this whole world, especially as soon as you're lucky enough to have success, that are very cutthroat and very ambitious, and for whatever reason, we keep giving ourselves to them, and we need to stop giving ourselves. World of Warcraft, when we made it, there was no CFO at Blizzard. You don't need a CFO to make World of Warcraft. You need artists, engineers, designers, producers, and an audio team.
You don't need to bring in, just because you're making a lot of money, doesn't mean you need to now start adulting by bringing in a CFO. You can figure it out.
And there are great finance guys. Like, I've worked with finance guys who get it and get out of the way and respect, and they're gamers and they sort of understand. But like, I wish developers would understand their own value more and stop handing the golden goose to people who don't deserve it.
This is why indie games are doing so well nowadays, because they don't work for a company that prioritizes profit on especially younger people.
How painful was it to say goodbye?
It broke me. I have nothing but places mecca for game development, provided for multiple things, and I was very sad when I resigned, and I didn't realize how broken I was until fucking
Love the greatest company.
run by 3 gamers. People who got it. The company when I joined was like 95%. That's like the respect, like of just these worlds that we're still making and we're still playing in today. It was infectious and it was inspirational, and you wore the Blizzard blue with an esprit de corps. Like, you felt proud to be part of it, and you felt like you had made it to be there. And everything you did wanting to respect and honor those who had come before you. I know it sounds almost cheesy saying it that way, but it really had that sense of reverence. Like, you knew you were part of something special. You didn't take it for granted.
Yeah, that's the sense. Reading everything, that's the sense I got. Everybody that was a part of it, they truly honored that time. Just to take a small slice, what were some of the brains? So you mentioned Chris Metzen.
Yeah. Video games have been ruined by capitalism. Obviously. Everything has. Everything. Epstein, Call of Duty, microtransactions.
We at the DOJ have released more of the Epstein.
Call of Duty microtransactions linked to Epstein emails. Epstein reportedly described the idea of indoctrinating kids into an economy. 2013 email, Epstein reportedly described the idea of indoctrinating kids into an economy through vital items and in-game purchases. The timing closely matches the period of when Call of Duty began expanding monetization beyond traditional DLC and map packs. Revelation has shocked many players, not because microtransaction exists, but because it offers a glimpse into the mindset and influences present at the moment one of the gaming's biggest franchises began reshaping how players spend money in-game. For every game, by the way. For every single game. The people who run this world want to ruin every fucking facet of happiness you could ever possibly think of happening. Or having. Genuinely, all of them. They don't like you. They want you to suffer and spend your money for them. That's it.